Welcome back to the Mind and Money podcast. I'm Val, a financial planner.
And I'm Sherry, a financial coach. And today we're talking about a really clear idea in our mind, but that 2 seconds of us sharing exactly what that is not coming to either of our brains right now. So basically, it's how you make decisions and how you make decisions by looking at the bigger picture that are going to support future you, but also make today you happy. And I don't know, has your brain created anything? So talk to me, Val, about why you wanted to talk about.
Right. So this is coming up in my world right now because I'm looking at purchasing a vehicle. The vehicle I drive right now there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not fuel efficient. It is a truck. And I do like the size of it and I like the security and safety I feel in it, but it's not practical. I don't put stuff in the truck bed every day. It's not like I'm utilizing the truck aspect. So I'm looking at it and going, okay, I'm spending this much in fuel every month. I don't need to spend that much in fuel. I drive quite a bit. I'll say average 500 kilometers a week, and that's probably a high average, but around 2,000 kilometers a month. So looking at what I drive doesn't make sense for what I do.
You drive a lot. The amount you drive exhausts me.
Yes.
Most weeks I drive back and forth to the grocery store.
You're probably crushing like 10 kilometers. Is your Kia for sale?
No.
Do you love it though?
I do like it. Yeah. It's not as comfortable as the Edge though. I do miss the Edge, but she was at the end of her lifespan.
Yeah, you got your use out of it. So we have talked about purchasing vehicles before, and we've shared our views, and like everyone's situation is different. So in this situation, I'm set out the parameters that I want, which is all-wheel drive, ideally a larger SUV, not a car, so something a little higher up in terms of actual height, and like a V6 motor was ideal. Talked to my dad about why I preferred that. And then it was this, okay, do I buy it outright, take a chunk out of savings and buy it outright? Yes, you can finance, but the interest rates on used vehicles are really high. So there's this debate of, I don't have to do this at all. I can just stay driving what I'm driving. But then there's well, what do I want to drive? And how does that really impact us when we're thinking of us being in that next vehicle? The color of our vehicle does not make us who we are, nor does what we drive. But as humans, we have this even I catch myself with it, having this interesting, association with what we drive to who we are. Kind of like there's some sort of weird tie there. And you and I both very well know that the person in maybe the newest looking vehicle or the nicest vehicle may not have what they appear to have.
They may have a staggering amount of debt that overwhelms the shit out of them.
Right. So it's an interesting internal reflection to see it coming up for me because I'm like, I like driving the truck, but I don't need to drive the truck.
And I feel like it's that I want to show myself a certain way to the world that has so many people in a similar situation truck-wise. My gut tells me the number of people that drive trucks and the number of people that use trucks for truck things, like that second group is very small compared to the first group.
I agree completely. Yes.
And like, as somebody who, like when I was a teenager, my dad had a truck and I liked driving the truck, but the other option was a minivan. So, but you're right. It's a way that we step out into the world.
Yes.
And more people see our vehicles. Well, more people see your vehicle. I've the nice people at the grocery store that bring groceries to my car see mine. But it is really something that people think, what are people going to think about me if they see me driving this vehicle? And I think in a lot of situations, it's much more of that external than the internal of, well, what do I want my vehicle to do? What do I need it to do from a practicality standpoint? And it's really hard to just leave that piece out of it, like that external piece, especially when you're going to clients' homes. They're seeing what you're driving. There are some people that are going to judge you and how professional you are, or if they want to work with you based on your vehicle. And those people you probably don't want to work with.
Yes.
But it's just really interesting to think about why you want to do the things you want to do. And then bringing in the money part of like, well, what does this decision mean for me today? What does it mean for my fuel purchases month to month moving
Yeah,
forward.
insurance. And it does tie back into the big picture of where do I want to be in 10 years and how does this vehicle help or hinder that? So it checks all of the boxes. And we talked about when you start talking about what you're looking for, things will come to you, I'll say, or the universe will bring you options.
Yep.
So
in your list of like requirements, do you also have a price point?
yes. And then that price point varied on kind of like two pivots. Do you get something newer, lower kilometers, will last longer, or do I get something that's not as new, maybe has slightly higher kilometers, but I know it's a 2 to 3 year window?
Like the vehicle would only be ideally 2 to 3 years of longevity.
Use.
Interesting.
Which I lean towards that one because it feels less committal.
How old would a vehicle be that you think you're only going to get 2 or 3 years out of?
Well, the one that like the universe brought to me, I'll say it's a 2013.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. So like to your edge.
Yeah.
Right. And
yeah, it was a 2010. Oh, 2008.
Yes.
And our car that we have now is a 2010.
Yes.
And when we approached car shopping, we approached it from like the budget was the biggest point, and the other things were like, well, these are like, we want to have a bigger vehicle.
Yeah.
We want to have something that's going to have longevity to it. And that, I'm not going to say like, made the search longer, but I'm pretty sure it took more time. But we had that time flexibility because, and expanded like the window of where we were looking. And
yes.
But yeah, really having the money piece of it. And I'm very, maybe we'll go into this on another episode, but I'm very curious. Maybe when you actually decide what you do vehicle wise, we'll dig into more of the why. But like having, again, beating my head against the wall, having clarity around your money helps make this decision easier, because if you were coming at this from a standpoint of,
I need a vehicle.
Yeah, I need a vehicle, and like come hell or high water, I'm going to get one that people are going to think X of me to have. And that comes at you from two different places too. I'm not sure if we're going to share that one we just recorded and this one back to back, but having a furnace installed today. And one of the debates was, do we have whole home humidifier installed as part of it? And first the debate was, do we fix it or do we replace it? And it's 23 years old. And the part was going to be, I think he said 1,500. And the part was also going to take 2 weeks to come. And we're in the middle of winter and we're not too bad because we've got a lot of heaters, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody knocked on my door and said, did you start a grow up in your basement this week? Because I'm not looking forward to the electric bill. But it was really interesting because when the tech came to look at the furnace, the first thing he said, because I hate dry air in the winter, and I had a humidifier that I purchased a couple weeks ago, and as soon as he came in, he's like, that's bad. I'm like, what? It's a cool mist humidifier, and because we have hard water, and because I refuse to purchase distilled water to put in it, because it goes through a lot of water, but it puts this mist into the air and it's got a white powder, and he pulled out the furnace filter and like hit it, and I'm like, oh yeah.
So he's saying it's bad because it's making the furnace work harder?
Yes. And basically it's the equivalent, he said, to like drywall dust on a furnace. So, and I did some research, of course, and there are other humidifiers that would be better, because before we had a warm mist humidifier, which then doesn't do the white dust thing. It's the cool mist humidifier. But I previously looked at having it as part of the furnace, and I talked to him about it a little bit, and there's that added cost. And of course I was like, okay, I can go and I can get this humidifier from this place and it's going to cost this much, and the attachment on the furnace is going to cost this much. And we were debating, and just like, I'm like, what the fuck? The difference is $400 or $500. And there's going to be a little bit of increased water usage because some of it's going to not get used and go to the drain, which I don't like. But every time the furnace runs, the air in the whole house is going to be humidified. I don't have to fill anything up. I don't have to cart water all over the place. Like, what the hell am I doing debating this when, from a financial perspective, I'm grateful that that decision isn't going to have a huge financial impact. Sometimes we can make decisions from the opposite place of that scarcity, that being in a position where you're making decisions that are all based on budget and affordability, when there's times when you're like, the difference between these two things and the convenience between this option and this option, it doesn't make sense to not do it. Just like, what you doing there, Sherry? You're trying to like nickel and dime $300-$400 for the inconvenience of having to fill up a humidifier every winter, every day.
Right.
That's not even going to get to the whole house as well as this one would. So it's like clarity around your money just offers you so many things. And when you are making that decision around buying a new car or paying in full for a large purchase or getting a payment plan, knowing where you want to go in your life and knowing where you are with your finances helps you pull all those pieces together. Because really, with any large purchase for a home, you can rent them. We could probably rent a furnace, and you can definitely rent a water heater. And like part of the draw is A, if you don't have the money up front, but B, if you're renting it, usually the service is included with it. And if it dies, they're going to fix it. And that can be a real positive. But when you do the math, and I haven't done this with the furnace, but I did it with a water heater last time we replaced it, you're paying almost double to rent it versus buying it, or more, depending on your situation and if you have handy people in your life. But really, knowing what you want, knowing that life you want, knowing where you stand financially, like all
pieces that come together. So then now that we've said that, it's like,
have we clarified your vehicle decision?
Not necessarily. Oh, no. I know what I'm leaning towards, but I'm just trying to get like the title piece down of like, what are we trying to say? It's making your decisions that are truly best for you. Like,
yes.
Not just in what you want in the moment, but pause decisions. Decision pause.
Because we can be impulsive.
Most definitely.
We can be impulsive when it comes to big decisions. And I think as I've learned more about my money and learned more about like the life I want to build, the pausing gets so much easier. And I actually find myself on the opposite side sometimes thinking, fuck, sure, you've had those things in your cart for whatever for like 2 weeks. You really want these things. You have the money to pay for these things in your personal spending account. What's the holdup? Like we were talking earlier about some jogging pants. I have some black jogging pants that I like. They're my work uniform. And I have pants that I wear at night that I consider like my pajama pants, and I don't like them and they don't stay up and they're not comfortable. And I've just been dealing with it. And there's pants that are just like these ones that you can't see right now because they're under a blanket and cut off, that are on sale because they're white. Go back to the manifesting episode for a little joke on that. But for pajama pants, it doesn't matter that they're white and they're comfortable and they're going to stay up without me having to tie them up tight, which then becomes an emergency if I wait too long to go to the bathroom because I'm doing something. Really, being in a position where you can do the things or a position where you feel restriction because you're not in that financial spot, like still it lets you know where you are. And I think one of the things I believe is no matter where you are financially, if you're building a plan, you're working to put a plan into place, you need to have some wiggle room in there for things that make you happy.
For sure. Yes.
And if you don't, you're going to be miserable and it's not going to be sustainable.
No, because you'll rebel in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. So thinking about what you want, thinking about the big picture, thinking about how your money supports or detracts from that decision. And again, go back to the manifesting episode for so many more things other than my white sweater story. But you're capable of doing so much, but believing in it is important. And yeah, I feel like I'm going to plug the transcript into ChatGPT and see what it suggests for a title.
It'll give us exactly what we need.
Because we've circled around the topic, the idea, but I don't really think we've nailed it. But it's just making decisions in alignment with who you are and
where you're going and where you are.
And adjusting based on your reality is the initial thing that we talked about as a title, but you have to know your reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. And easier said than done, like most things are, but really try and focus on doing things for what is best for you, for today, and for future you. I know a big thing ADHD wise is that 2 times now and not now. And that's what leads to a lot of impulsivity is, well, now money in my bank account now, no thought of like rent next week. So having that big picture, understanding your cash flow, all those things, and really, do what's best for you and not based on what other people are going to think of you. Any parting thoughts, my dear?
No, I feel like we're just going to say it 2 more different ways. So we're gonna wrap it up there. Thank you for listening.
We'll see you next time on the Mind and Money Podcast.